We're Steph and John, and welcome to Real Renos.
The Real series where we take you on our own renovation project in real time.
Upside down, I'll find the things they say just can't be found. I'll share this love I find with everyone.
Literally, look how big this place is.
We'll sing and dance to Mother Nature's song. I don't want this feeling to go away.
So a lot has happened this week. We're going to jump straight into it. The facade is really coming together thanks to Fedwood. We went there and we selected all of these custom sort of shapes to be able to work with a carpenter and create this beautiful front fence that is getting painted by Master Touch Painting so perfectly. We also designed this custom barge board. As you can see, it is emulating a lot of the lines and reoccurring motifs that I speak heavily about in the house. So that's just added that extra bit of fenestration. And then, yeah, these columns are coming in Burke from Red Brick. Oh my gosh. If there's one thing that's really changed the house, it has been the dyeing of the brick. We've shown you a few clips here and there, but to be able to see it come to fruition the way that it has and actually harmoniously tie the facade together, I think that's the real big strong suit. And a lot of people do say, and I think in the last episode you probably saw that we were doing some pointing, which is that extra layer after you do the dyeing on the brick, you point and you create these sort of lines that emulate mortar. We actually scrapped that because we wanted a bit more of an organic sort of feel rather than maybe something that's quite rigid, which is like totally fine for some specific houses, but I think for this one we're using the architecture of the lines of all the timber work to stand out in that way, and we're wanting the bricks to sort of blend in. So speaking of more detail, you saw the laying of our front porch, one of my most prized possessions in this whole house. The layering of different colors, the fact that we have a marble tessellated tile, but it's also been sheeted. It's second to none. And then the fact that, this front porch is like a little bit messy now, but we'll clean it all up. And the fact that we were able to use similar tiles over here and we designed this sort of pattern creates this beautiful connection between two spaces, but also separates the function and then leads you into the space. But before you go into the house, you're definitely going to appreciate all the landscaping that we did, and John spoke heavily about that.
So today it's a circus on site, but we're going to show you the progress that we've made on landscaping. So the boys are doing a screed bed now. That's where we're going to lay our cobble, which is going to be flush with the footpath. So it's always important to get those levels right. The last thing you want is a step, but we're perfectionists, so we are doing that. So we're going to have some nice planting in this. This was a pretty important detail when we did the pour. It was a last minute decision, but nonetheless, I think it's worked out nice. We're going to do some tricolor viola plants. We're going to have a border, and this is where the tilers have fun. They're going to have to cut out individually of the mosaic set a red cobble to go around. It's going to border the planting really nicely. Again, we're going to continue our picket fence here. There's going to be a gate that hinges off here. It's a bit more secure. And then this is where we're going to have our feature tree. This is going to be a huge Japanese maple. It's going to have some uplighting as well. The boys from Silver Spade have made a huge push this week. We've got all our ag lines for irrigation, with all of our edging. So we've got Josh. Do you want to tell us a little bit about why it is important, not just to bend your edging on site, but why it's also important to concrete things in?
Okay, so it's important to concrete things in because we want them to hold in place. You know, we're going to be planting some mature trees in the garden bed, so obviously the root system is going to start pushing things out. Also, we can get it to the right heights and levels as required, depending the slope of the land. So yeah, stay tuned, guys. We're on day 2 and we're going very well so far. The boys are giving it a good push.
Honestly, I got here this morning and there's already aggregate down, all the edging at the back, which we thought was going to take 2 days.
So one of the funny things that clients often ask is when we pick up the Corten edging, it comes like pretty much a plain steel look, and then they said, "Are you sure you got the right steel?" Funny enough saying that, Steph actually texted me when we got the delivery and said, is this the right steel? How long does it take to rust? And I made a bit of a joke. I just said, you know, give or take 6 months. And she was like, what?
The Shapescaper steel range has really come in clutch this renovation. The landscaping is literally being all created through edging. It's creating a lot of, you know, natural walk-through.
So in Sydney, as you all know, there's a lot of clay. Clay holds moisture, especially when we're doing drip systems and with all this crazy weather. We want to excavate all that clay out, install ag lines, connect them into pits and then stormwater points to get the water out. Therefore is going to be a healthier rate for the plants to survive.
Drainage is Josh's favourite word, but now that I can see why, it actually all does make sense. The amount of soil and clay that has come out of this house is crazy, but it's all for the right purpose. So here we're also going to have a bit of a weeping tree, so it's going to be nice kind of for that sitting area, and then it's going to kind of be the backdrop to Steph's makeup desk. But a nice weeping cherry blossom. We're going to leave the maples for the front, so I think a cherry blossom would be nice, a bit of colour. And then here we've got our tiered planter boxes. So we're gonna have a really nice olive tree next to a lemon tree, and then Steph and I are gonna go out and we're gonna pick a heap of herbs for this garden, and then we're gonna probably have a dwarf lime tree. So we're trying to go for that farm to table experience. We're trying to give this area a lot of color and pop because it doesn't get too much sun, so we have to be quite cognizant of that when we're picking our plants. Now, Steph and Josh came up with the idea yesterday to run 2 wires up, and I think we're going to do it horizontally, and we're going to have a passion fruit tree growing on our property. It's going to be really nice. This space is really going to pop, and it's going to look really nice when you're inside the house because you're just going to have so much color glaring out, and it's going to be our own little farm to table experience that one day our daughter will just be able to pick some shallots, pick some olives, go inside. Not olives, what do I mean olives? Not olives. I haven't had a coffee yet. Pick some lemons, pick some mint, and then go in and make her mum and dad some lemonade. You can really start to see the space. We're then going to have a planter box here, and then the reason why the boys have brought this up so much behind the pool is because that's where we're going to have an outdoor sitting area. So a lot of people would probably just put some compacted dirt, compact it down, and then lay grass, sit on that. Over time, it will hold water. Not a really nice place that you want to sit down and enjoy, you know, a summer's day drink looking at the pool. Again here, we've kindly got our level. So the level for the step down from the travertine onto the limestone steppers. So this is going to be really cool. The guys from ACM Blocks have supplied us these limestone steppers in 2 different sizes. We're going to have a big limestone stepper here, and then we're going to have a meandering path into the side courtyard to give that continuity. But what the boys are going to do, they're going to lay them next week. We're then going to seal them. And like we've said a few times, it's not just road base, it's road base with some cement so that it does hold firm. So next week, this place is going to be completely different. We're getting a huge order from the exotic nursery guys next week. Start planting, a bit of soil underlay, and watch this space completely change.
So like I said, we've been pretty lucky for access throughout this whole reno, but I think this is the day that we've met our match.
Do you reckon we're going to fit it?
We've got no choice.
Hey.
Day 4, we're smashing it. Me and the boys have been killing it here. Most of our edging's in. We're just doing a last bit of excavation and drainage at the Sparky here yesterday, running all the low voltage cable. Next stage will be ready for planting and steppers.
It's been awesome working with Josh from Silver Spade Landscapes, and John sort of spoke about the architecture of how you're going to flow through the landscaping. But what about the planting? We went to exotic nurseries and we selected this incredible array, and with Josh we are now curating our garden beds. I can't wait to show you what we've selected.
Walking on a dream. How can I explain? Talking to myself. Will I see again?
places.
down, I'm just an oral.
So within the project, we've got 3 different focal points. We've got the front yard, which we're envisaging a weeping maple. The courtyard, a lollipop olive, which is going to be in a raised cortan ring. And at the back, to be confirmed.
But it'll be a mixture of bamboo and something like this, I think. So even though we, have all these different sort of spaces, we're wanting to be able to see what we're using at the front, see what we're using at the back, and being able to see, okay, well, is there going to be like a nice continuity between them as well?
That's right.
Just because you have 3 different zones doesn't mean that you can, do one vibe, in the backyard and one in the front, because ultimately the house wouldn't flow. So it has been important for us. We've like picked up other pots and put them next to each other and go, does that work? So that's been really, really helpful here.
Yeah.
So continuity is key. Of course, we are curating our outside as we are finessing the inside. We can't go past these Corinthian doors. The fact that we have left them in their raw form, I think is a genius stroke. And I'm not gonna say that it was my first intention. When I ordered them, and I will say this, when I ordered them, they were supposed to be white and then they came raw and I was like, oh my God, was this a happy accident? It's so important to allow for these like happy sort of mistakes to like happen in your build and then recognize like, was it a mistake or should we go with it? And that was definitely what we did with Corinthian. So as promised, I was going to talk to you guys about our in-trim details. So that is our architraves, that is our skirtings, our skirting blocks, our picture rail. All of these things, we went to in-trim and we did a extensive little layout to finalize all these little curves. Hi.
Hi, Steph. How are
Hey
you?
Kaylee, thanks for having me here.
No problem.
I wanted to chat through the whole process and just let everyone know, okay, so I went online, I picked out my profiles, I got this little box delivered.
Yeah.
But we should chat now about how we have applied each of the profiles. Okay, and this is the architrave that we used. And architraves are for around windows, around doors. We just mentioned that we use the skirting block. And the reason being was because we picked a different profile, right?
Exactly. So they are slightly different profiles. This one being SK445 and that one being the 945B. So
We could have picked,
alternatively,
yeah,
yep, we could do the same profile, the 945B, just in a smaller size.
for sure. And just for the folks playing at home, we didn't pick the same one, and I think it was because I wanted to have a tighter ornamentation rather that it being so splayed. So that's like a good example of using a similar shape, and you can tell that from that side, a similar shape, but actually, still achieving the aesthetic that I wanted. And you can play around with them. And I think the way in which we've done that, using the skirting block, so that you don't sort of see that difference, I think was a really
Definitely disguises that, yep.
disguised way, about that. Okay, cool. Amazing. I love all these parts.
And then we did a chair rail,
Yes.
CR62,
Yes.
and we've used that as a picture rail. So
Yes.
running across the top of the room.
And a lot of people can use the chair rail at 900 high around the room, or using it as a picture rail, I guess.
Yeah, there's no rules. It can be, some people even use, with this sort of thing you can have a bit of fun. Some people use it on the ceiling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know
Wherever
what?
you wish.
Yeah, I think we actually ended up using this or the architrave around our attic.
Corners?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly,
okay,
because we needed to like finish that trim off. So I love how interchangeable and adaptable all of these profiles are. But I think the best part about in-trim is that you can be picking different profiles, matching them in with each other, and also having continuity in the house because of that. So yes, I've really enjoyed playing around with all of this, and I can't wait to show you guys what it looks like installed.
Can't wait to see it.
So once you lay out your Corinthian doors with your in-trim detailing, what is next? Hardware. door handles, all of these little things. We got them from Ivor, and I am loving the signature brass, but I'm also liking the natural curvature. And then it was like, you know, where do we place them on the door? For us, it was simple. We just lined the bottom of our handle with this railing. So as you can see, this room has transformed in just a week exponentially. We will speak more and more about the lighting choices, the placement of certain things, also the furniture in which we selected, which Japandi pieces that you can spot in both our rooms, and I definitely will be talking to you about the nursery, but I'm not showing you too much of that right now. You are going to get a full tour of the nursery. Right now, let's talk about this Jack and Jill in between space. So we'll push away our Corinthian oak raw doors and we'll pop into this space. There's of course doors on either side, locks on both sides. For me, spatially, when I planned this room, it was the smallest room. And it was a risk because we were thinking, are we gonna be able to get all the elements that we need in this space to work? One, functionally, two, feel good. And I think that that's got a lot to do with our palette. Now we went to Tile Cloud and this is what we selected. So we're at Tile Cloud and we use Yabby's antique brass throughout our home. You've seen it multiple times now, but what I love is the continuity in all of our fixtures and fittings. Whether it's our flush plate, we ended up using one of these in the shower and complement it with this one here. That's in our master. We have a combination of different fixtures and fittings in the, you know, for the toilet paper and hooks. And then of course the tapware. And they come in different sort of tapwares, like you can actually have this one coming straight out of the wall. Even our doorknobs, like that's antique brass. And the fact that Yabby offers all of this, I think just makes our life that much easier. So speaking of continuity, we also use it in our kids' Jack and Jill bathroom, but we use it on the walls this time, and it's because our main feature was our Tamarama tiles. We used it in both cream and in beige, and I think again, it wasn't that we used these tiles, it was the way in which we cut the tiles that made it what it is today. So when we talk about the colors and the way in which all the colors have meshed in together, it's really worked out beautifully. We're mixing different grains. We're adding our Taj Mahal benchtop from Costantino. You guys remember when we selected it? This is the way in which we've applied it. We've basically been able to put down these functional and really well durable tiles from Tile Cloud, and we've layered it with this natural marble in both applications, one on our benchtop and then one around this shroud. Now, some people would think, why would you invest money in a stone around here? Well, it's because in all the other areas, I've gone for a very practical and durable product. And in some areas, I would use a natural stone. Areas that aren't subject to like grot and grime as much. So using it as a feature rather than like a main element in a room is the way in which we went about natural stone. And secondly, what I mean by that also is, you know, using a piece of stone just on the base of our niche here. So yeah, you're not using a lot of it, but you're using it in areas that really make impact. The beautiful brassware from Yabby that we touched on. And then, yeah, of course, the continuity and even in the flush plates. The fact that the company is able to, you know, facilitate tapware, flush plates, the whole kit and caboodle to be able to put together a really cohesive bathroom. You layer that with your tiles, you layer that with your stone, it's all working out. So now let's go to the master. We can talk about the hallway another time, but look at these lights. I mean, the rugs we're gonna put here, the furniture, I can't wait to talk you through it. So in the master, again, this room has changed quite a bit, but there's a lot of boxes. It's been a week, so you've seen the transition between different spaces. I will speak about it when it's less cluttered. Another push of our Corinthian doors. You'll probably notice that I use all cavity sliders for bathrooms. It's just efficient. We don't have to worry about it, a door swing, the whole thing. This Constantino stone is yet again another hit, and different in this room. Instead of having tiles on the walls, we did micro cement. So whenever you're using a micro cement or even a paint or a wallpaper or anything like that, it's important to upturn your stone to ensure that you're actually watertight and compliant from a waterproofing perspective. So you're having a durable product behind the tapware. So same methodology as the Jack and Jill, just no tiles on this wall, same level of detail and wanting to create the grandeur of the stone in the shroud. But because in lieu of the tiles, then we've added these beautiful lights in the travertine so that we're creating this continuity between materials, but also applying them in a different way. So you see the travertine that we used on the walls in the kids' room now on the floor. So travertine has been a recurring motif throughout the house, whether we've used it in this format or other formats, but really the main inspiration has come from that tile. Now over to our little board over here. So we not only used it in the pool area, and that's really transformed our space, and also in a durable area. So where we have plants, you know, the tile is not going to be discoloring purely because of the properties of the tile. So I wanted to create that continuity throughout the home, and yes, in fact, we selected it for the master. Now in this situation, we used it on the ground, and then we salt and peppered it with a beautiful tile, subway tile. Now, this is sort of like a travertine lookalike tile, but it's got lots of texture and it's really, really grippy. And then I saw this tile, and it's all about the way in which you lay it. So we actually cut this tile up, and we laid this subway tile in a pattern and configuration that really transformed these two tiles into something beautiful. So we're going to talk about the layout of this bathroom. Again, it's quite snug, but it packs a punch. We have our bath from Pietra Bianca. I love this bath. It is got beautiful, like a beautiful pattern in it. It is not white, and I think it would contrast too much if it was that stark white. And we have like this little stool as well. So imagine me bathing the little one. I was about to say her name. Woo! Again, layering all of these elements with our brass tapware, our heated towel rail, and yeah, I love that we have dual functions. So we have the hose, which can be also used for the bath, and really good for cleaning. And then you have water coming from the ceiling. Multiple avenues of bathing. So yes, I am pretty pregnant and I am still going up the stairs. I feel comfortable about it, don't at me. And my most favorite part of the whole house is our study slash attic slash basically brain dump area. Like anything that I don't know where goes in the house, anything to do with work is in this space. Of course, we've spoken heavily about the Velux skylight, but if there is any skylights that are my favorite model, it is the roof windows. So we're here today at the Skylight Warehouse, featuring the Velux skylights that we have selected for our home. Honestly, one of my favorite parts of the house, genuinely, because of the way in which the light has just transformed the space. So what did we select and how did we select? So tell us about the pitch roof skylights that we went with.
So on your pitch roof, we've gone with the electric skylights, which is going to be fantastic for adding ventilation, particularly as you're putting them in places like your kitchen.
Yes.
And we know that you're putting them on both sides of that really high ceiling. So manual skylights weren't really going to be an option. You have to have a really long extender pole to get them open.
Oh, for sure.
So instead, click a button.
And speaking of buttons, we actually get to click another button to be able to, close down that heat with the blinds.
How perfect.
So I'm really loving that. And then we also have in the same shape, the roof window in our attic. Oh my God. If there is a better skylight on the market, it's just incredible. So we did speak about Velux quite extensively, and also just want to speak to you about it in application. So you know we have the roof windows there, but we actually have it over here. Now the benefit of having another skylight on the other side of the house is for cross-flow ventilation. And we sort of said that, why do we have that? It's basically to be able to pull the hot air and the cool air out, but it's actually important that the hot air is that's coming through is a bigger opening, and then the smaller sort of southern side, which is this side, is actually a smaller opening, so you create more of a draft. This is more Fedwood detailing and ornamentation. We also have that here on our balustrade before we go down. Ignore all of my work stuff. This is basically a little bit of a entry into my mind and into the collections and all the furniture that you're gonna see super soon. So out of the master and into the living space. Again, so much has happened in a week. We will talk to you about why we've used certain things. We have put our Japandi rug in here. I am loving it in this space, but we'll speak next episode about the details and why we've selected what we've selected in that space. So boxes, more sort of, you know, unpacking. A lot's happened again in the kitchen. Yes, I think our biggest change, it has been the micro cement, but also adding these Fedwood details where we have, again, we see these beautiful Velux skylights really changing the space. And like, look at this light. This light wouldn't exist if this light wasn't cut out from the skylight. It's been really good putting all of our Smeg appliances back into the space and just starting to feel like this is going to be a home again. And now we're just up to styling. Styling, cleaning, landscaping. Again, this space here has probably taken one of the biggest transformations in the last week because of the outlook, I would say. But also look at all of our stuff that I need to style. Anyway, I can give you a full styling class next episode, but yeah, it's just feeling really good to see actually the colors come together. I think this room really displays the difference in, you know, why this room, if it was painted white, would be so overly large and expansive. So having this beautiful color, we're calling it Coffee Hit from Taubman's. It's just really grounded the space and made what could be quite an overwhelming space really cozy. So, remember when I spoke to you guys about our spec windows, Capital Windows and Doors installed them. That's my dad's company. And yes, remember when I said to you we didn't pick white? So, equally as important as it is to have really good quality windows that you can really pocket away, then the next sort of space that we go into is of course this area here, which will house our barbecue, our pizza oven. Again, we've used travertine in its natural form on the floor here. Again, continuity in the house, but this balustrade detail. So thanks to the guys at Glaze Co, we have this pool fence, which is minimal. It's not trying to do too much. We've used white sort of finishes so that we can match in with our non-white sliding doors. And then just having this radius on this edge here really softens the space, but then it takes you down into the architecture that you saw at the beginning of the episode that is curving away, which is our landscaping plan. As the landscaping is coming together, so is the pool. We've spoken about how it's a mineral pool and how exciting that is. What have we put in here?
So we did what we call a startup process yesterday.
Yes.
We put magnesium salt in the water, a little bit of alkalinity increaser to bring the pH up, and chlorine. We kept it pretty simple. The green tinge that you see at the moment is just the magnesium starting to react to the full water. And once we kickstart the entire system, get it filtrating a little bit, it'll go back to blue quite quickly and it'll be fantastic to swim on.
So the way in which we enter the pool is through this gate. You'll notice that we have our Weber, and that's justified to this side for, of course, pool compliance. You always have to think about your 900 ratio around the pool. So once you are in the pool area, I actually can't tell you how glistening this pool feels and looks right now. Plungy has done wonders for this space. I love the appreciation that you have for the pool glistening from the living spaces into this area. And I think also it's a testament to the color. So we use Kona Coast, which is a beautiful sort of, it's almost like a white, and it's got like a light blue, and the way in which it naturally makes the water look, plus with the minerals, oh, I can't wait to jump in. Honestly, what a week.
I know, we have got so much done. The inside is literally finished.
Yes, and we got so many little details. All the small things were really realized. So it was really nice to be able to, you know, have the whole view that we wanted from the start, you know, come together in these small little pieces.
Yeah, and it's also pretty exciting to bring that outside.
Yes.
So making so much progress on the landscaping. The pool is literally looking amazing.
Yes, and the weather is heating up. And the other thing that's cooking is the baby. And I think there's one more episode to go.
Yes, let's see where that one is filmed from.
Let's see. Stay tuned.
Oh man, take a look at my life. I'm a lot like you.
This could not be a more contrasting image. I mean, work clothes, cleaning a pool on a construction site. What is happening?